What's going on, guys?
What's going on?
Welcome back to Somebody's Cousins. What's us? We're we could possibly be your cousins actually, but we're here to talk about the internet funds of the moment. First, let me tell you where you can find both of us. Demita Joe, would you like to say hello?
Yes, I'm Demita. You can find me on Reality and Beyond TV for reality stuff and comments on trending topics and all types of stuff like that. Or on Self Care Revolution. Anyway.
Nice. I love it. I put stuff up here where you can see. I put stuff up here. Put our links in the comments. What am I talking about? I put stuff up here.
You are so funny.
I hired as somebody's internet assistant. But anyway, there's so much stuff that's happening. We have so much to talk about because life has been lifing around here. That's my little timer in the background. But it wasn't just that. I just
ordered a Pomodoro, another Pomodoro timer.
Yes. I mean, I can't have enough of them. I have like 2 on this desk, at least 1 on the floor. It's just like, so convenient. But anyway, yeah, we've been gone for a couple weeks and it's all my fault because I've just been having a lot of stuff happening, but we're back, guys. So there's that. We're here to talk about a few things actually. Since the last time we talked, a lot has happened, including Streamer University, which we're going to get in depth about. But let me lead with the top thing that I keep hearing things about, which is this Nolan Wells case.
Mm-hmm.
So, you hate to see it, really. It's like, unfortunately, it's not uncommon now to see these sorts of things happen. And when I was looking online, well, first of all, let me just say, Nolan Wells was he was a young man, a young football player who died in July after going out on a boat with his friends on their boat, and then he came up missing, and then they found his body. So at this point,
been following it really closely. You probably know more details than me because I haven't really gotten into it, but now from what I'm seeing, the current state is that even some of the local officials were lying.
They're coming to find out that they've ordered a second autopsy because they had the first initial autopsy, and there's things that are missing from. There's still questions that need to be answered, and there's it's hard to not get graphic, but parts of his neck were missing, and there were parts I think that would have shown evidence of whether he died one way or the other, because one of the things that's happening right now
is odd. Like
it is odd.
I'd be so confused because I'm like, so even when you figure out, or when it's like obvious that something's amiss here, you can't just like the big hand don't immediately just come down. I just don't get that. If the parts that are missing, if there are parts missing, period, like that's not suspicious. Yeah. And then if the parts missing are parts that would kind of prove some shit are missing, like
autopsy results are like sealed or something. It's like, why are you sealing autopsy results? Like, what are you talking about? And then come to find that one of the young men who was one of his friends, his father has some ties in where he could access certain evidence. So it's like, we don't know everything here, but something seems crazy about it. And thankfully enough people have talked about this young man's character where it has drawn some significant attention. And so like lots of people are stepping up and like paying for funeral costs and things like that.
Because you said Colin Kaepernick paid for the second autopsy, right?
Yeah, I think so. It was him and somebody else.
So like, yeah, because I feel like this is good that people are
Tyler Perry for the funeral. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm thinking that who paid for the funeral?
Tyler Perry covered the funeral costs, but then Colin Kaepernick did the autopsy, the independent autopsy.
Yeah, that's so crazy to me. But I feel like it's good that people are coming and stepping up like that, because like he can't speak for himself. So you would like hope that people would, make a big stink about some shit if it was a ride, but it's obvious to me that it was a ride. Like, because the last thing I heard was that there wasn't even like water in his lungs like that. So
yeah, I heard that too. And I mean, like, we're saying we listen to people who are reputable. It's so funny because I
know, right? I got it from the little
it's a little bit of a sidebar, but we talk about that. That's one of the things we're going to come back and cover a lot, is like asking people where they got their news, because it's okay to get your news from alternate sources than like mainstream media. But you got to make sure these people are credible and that they have a history of being credible. So like the first person, I don't know, I probably heard about it on like a share or something on Instagram, but the first sort of like person I would consider credible to cover it was probably Don Lemon in terms of like media. And then people started to talk about it more and more. And then now Nancy Grace is paying a close attention to it in terms of like following the case. But I realized today,
was like, calling her Nasty Nancy the other day.
I didn't even realize she was still in the air. Okay.
But I did, because when that Carmelo Anthony situation came up, she interviewed the father.
Oh, okay.
And she was really on his side. So I was like, oh, I said the same thing you said. So she's still in the air. Okay.
Well, she was on whose side? Whose father?
Austin Metcalf, the one that got stabbed.
Okay.
But it was just the way that she was on his side. I was just like,
yeah. So she's saying that there's something fishy about this whole Nolan Wells case, but it's
really
interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting to me because
like, really,
I'm glad that she's covering it. I do feel like people need to be hearing about this case, but I could not get through her whole segment. Like, she had like a 50-minute whatever, like, and I could sit there and listen to Don Lemon because he'd be cutting up and he'd be making me laugh, but he's also like a credible source. But it's so funny because then I ended up watching Tisa Tells, and she gave me all the information I needed, and it made me realize
she's been on top of it.
It made me realize how, like, if you are credible, then you could have your own media company. If you could just be, like, consistent and credible and check your own sources, like, you could have a credible, like, because I don't know how long her career is or where she came from, but I was looking at her channel the other day. Her YouTube channel is like started in 2020. Now you never know, she could have had another YouTube channel before that. But she's really great. Like, I love watching her, and I was thinking to myself, like, I think she's really funny. Like, I love the way that she says things, or the expressions on her face. But I was like, you know what, you can get your news from anyone credible. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like another opportunity.
It's not your last stop. You're gonna take the information that you need to continue to do your own research. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, but it depends on what it is, because a lot of people have been credible and stuff. I'm laughing because Tasha K has been uncredible, but she's been credible in a lot of stuff, meaning that a lot of stuff that she has talked about or said that was going on actually happened, right? But she's building her own like powerful media company now. She's actually on tour. But anyway, Tisa Tells, I watched her today. The reason why I like her is because when she covers something, she is not just doing 1 or 2 videos about it. She's gonna give you an update as soon as she gets the update. You know what I'm saying? You might have seen 2 or 3 videos from her today. You know, if not more, because she's like constantly giving her updates. So I do like her. But anyway, so this case is unfortunate because it's too many examples like it. Like, it's not the only one. We can think of more than a handful of times that something like this has happened or whatever. And it's just interesting how people act when they're trying to protect their children. They do these things that end up being illegal. But then when a Black person is protecting their children, it's like they try to, it's like it's 2 different bowls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't see the Black parents doing it like this, right? Like I remember hearing they was telling people to stop bullying the kids that were on the boat or whatever, and this is like, why are we calling it bullying when somebody's child is gone? If it was flipped around, there would be so many things going on when it comes to, like, you know, getting information and investigating and whatever. But right now we're saying that they're being bullied when people are just trying to find out what happened to their kid. You know what I mean? It's just like the differences are obvious to me. So, you know, it's just unfortunate that it keeps happening. But I really hope that it all comes out, because the thing that I know about things like this, and I said the same thing in the Carmelo Anthony thing, somebody is going to break. Okay, somebody is going to eat them up. All right, and they're going to have to say what happened. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but I'm telling you. And if they watch this video, you know what happened. You need to talk. Anyway,
the pressure is coming, because the pressure is on, because I think they're at the point now where they're getting ready to file for, if they haven't already, for wrongful death. And that's going to allow them to subpoena certain people. It's going to allow them access to information that is now probably like considered need to know basis. Like, you know, this happened in Mississippi.
And guess what? Somebody probably chat GPT some shit. Somebody probably AI.
And guess what? And that should not. That is not client That is not client attorney privilege. That's up for grabs. We need to see all that, because there was some really weird stuff. Now, okay, so before we even get there, let me just pull this up, because this is really interesting, and it's having to do with this case. This is from a few weeks. No, it's from 1 week ago. Let me just share this. Sorry, I'm like an old person. I'll be trying to share my screen, and I'll be clicking the wrong button. Like, what are you talking about? Okay. Here it is.
Remind me to tell you what happened at work yesterday for orientation.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so these are things like this. So this is Ben Crump talking about this. There were phone messages that were deleted. There was some stuff going on with like his keys, like where his keys were found. Apparently, he was a strong swimmer. I think that's an important detail for people to understand. So he was. There was another case that happened that involved a young man who ended up getting rescued by a white family. And I don't even know if we talked about this, but I'm just going to click over to this family right here. A couple weeks ago.
That's crazy.
There was a black boy. I think he said he was like 16 or something. And he was like screaming, or like they heard him over there, and they went over there, and he was basically saying he couldn't swim. And they went and like they helped him because his friends left him to drown. Like his friends left him out there with like a kid's life jacket. And
why was he even out there? But anyway.
Yeah, well, so this is what is being stated, because there are people who I'm going to show in a second who are thankfully advocating for this type of thing, because it does take a lot of people. Black people for sure, but it takes for white people right now to stand up and like, like for real, this happens a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a coincidence. Like, it's not somebody, you know what I'm saying? So like, I've seen a lot of people come out and talk about it and be like, okay, yeah, this is ridiculous. This keeps happening to black people. And there's this one lady that was even saying, like, she was really cussing the camera out. She was saying how, like, I wonder if I can bring it up right here. Yeah. She's basically like, attention, parents of white children. Are you teaching them? Are you teaching them like that this is happening and they can't let this happen to their friends? Like, what are we doing? I think things like this are helpful, because it's like, it keeps happening. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel like we're going to look in another month or so and something else will have happened. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that people are finally speaking up about this. But anyway, back to the story at hand. I'm sorry. Did you have anything to say about it? Okay. Back to the story at hand. There's a lot that doesn't make sense, that doesn't add up. So like, he was a strong swimmer. He really took his scholarship for football seriously. So they're saying now that like anything that's alluding towards him getting like wasted or whatever. That he had a big game that he was going back for on that next Monday, so he knew not to get like wasted, you know. So now they're saying with this independent autopsy, and this is what I found out from Tisa Tells today, is that basically a drowning is fairly easy to prove. Like if somebody drowned, there's certain signs in the body that's like, especially if they drowned in a certain type of environment, like that's not a pool where there's algae and stuff, like certain things.
I saw that too. I mean that's like common sense, right? Like you're gonna have water in your lungs.
Yeah. So apparently they're finding things now, and there's information that's missing that will help them determine.
Were the lungs missing as well?
I don't know if the lungs were missing. I haven't heard that. But
I just know I heard the throat was missing.
Parts of his throat were missing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought
a nursing student, well, not a nursing student, she's a nurse, but she posted a picture of the throat, and she was saying what was missing, and the diagram that she showed like it labeled parts of the throat, and she was like he was tortured basically because of where the parts were. She was like, I guess with her knowledge, that's how she perceived it or whatever. But it's like, if I'm gonna check something and all of the parts aren't there, like that's a guilt right there to me. That's I don't know. It's like, why are you keeping the parts that are important to this investigation? What's the reason?
It's very odd and fishy, and especially when it's just happened, and it's not like the evidence should be so, like, they should be so willing to turn over evidence and improve things. Why
make themselves look suspicious?
Why there's so many questions and so many things that are, you know what I'm saying, like that are adding up. I'm not even calling anybody a liar, but it's like things don't add up to what you're saying, and why is this information missing? So, and the worst part of me wants to say that this was in Mississippi, where they have an amazing history of racism, and yeah, I mean, like their history of racism.
Not even just that, but isn't it like a lot of similar things have happened there in Mississippi like this?
Yeah, I've heard that too. And
are like they left there and never looked back.
I think it was somewhere like Jackson County, and you know what? I don't know if I'm familiar with that county or not, but whenever they were talking about it, it made me feel like I had heard of the county before. Like, but anyway, I'm not. I can't remember how I would be familiar with the county, so I'm not even going to say that. But like, this begs the question for me of like, this is another thing that I have to teach my Black son about being careful. You know what I'm saying? About, I mean,
I feel like, our conversations, we have some different conversations that we have to have that I don't think that everybody has to have. You know what I'm saying? Like just knowing how to carry yourself in certain situations, or how to understand, okay, I need to be on my P's and Q's so I can be alert or whatever. Like, you don't want to be like that around people that you think are your friends, but it's like, self-preservation. I don't know.
I mean, we got to be careful. We also know about that young, it wasn't even a young lady. I think I have it right here. Oh, the internet is great. Look at this. I can quickly just look at this magic tricks, everybody. No, this is the lady who and this is somebody named Eaton Thomas. Dear Black people, never be the only Black person. The end. No, to refresh everyone's memory, on November 3rd, 2018, Horsford, a 40-year-old mother of 5, golly, attended an overnight adult slumber party at a home in Forsyth County, Georgia, with several other women. As seen in the photo, on the next morning, November 4th, her body was found face down in the backyard directly beneath the home's second-story deck. But they didn't know what happened. Nobody could tell anybody what happened. It's like, what? And then it was like, I remember some weird stuff about this. Like, I don't know if like her D was missing, or it was something that was weird. And
you said what was missing?
I want to say like her ID was missing, or it was some weird stuff. Like, they were thinking, oh, look at this. Somebody said that
you know what? I can't think of any situation where I would even be with a bunch of people or that many people from where I work at
mm-hmm.
that I would be like, we about to go to sleep together. No, I'm so sorry.
They said that she, yeah, this is just, it's just, I'm not even gonna rehash the story, but I'm just looking at some of the details.
Was that in Mississippi?
No, it was in.
Oh,
I
I was
want
about to say.
Let's see. No, it's in Georgia, Forsyth County, Georgia. That's what this post is saying. Like, I don't know who this person is, but they have a lot of details right here. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go with it. Some of this I do remember. Like, I do remember her being found face down in the backyard, and I'm just looking.
Like they copied something from somewhere, so it's probably like
it's like nobody knew anything, nobody heard anything. It's just really
like she was herself. Like that's wild.
Like, but even if you fall, you're not going to be face down. You will have fell and been like, "Oh my God!" Something like it just
like you fell face down and didn't move at all.
Not from a 14-foot fall. Like you're not falling face down. Anyway, that's not even what we're talking about. But it's these types of things, and then this is another one that's interesting. Not to take us down.
I just replayed what you just did. When you was like, you don't fall, or whatever. I just replayed it in my head anyway.
I totally made, like, I don't know how people fall. I just
no, but you're right. Like they don't fall like in a straight line or like.
It's like you're not even when you trip and fall on the ground, your instinct is to put your hands out to break your fall. Something life preserving is going to occur to you.
We do know a person who broke their nose because they were running and fell and they did not put their hands out. It may have happened all too fast. I don't know, but yeah, it definitely doesn't occur to everybody.
I guess it doesn't occur to everybody, but it's just really odd of the things that happen. And this person right here is breaking down all of or not all of them, but a lot of different things where Black people were found, either hanging or, in the South or something like that, or found dead and being told that like, oh, there was no foul play involved. And it's like, well, you didn't even do a real proper investigation. And that's what makes me think, and this is again not founded by anything, but that's what makes me think the police are involved. Because why are you just opening and shutting these cases? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what is it?
Yeah. Because I was trying to talk to that. Well, I don't know when it was from. It might have been from a few days. Well, maybe it was from a week ago, but he basically was like, people were saying, is it about race? And he was like, well, I mean, I'm not saying it is about race, but let's not say it's not about race. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not rule that out. We haven't even like looked into stuff. Like, why would we just say it's not about race? You just don't know. But I think that it's obvious that something else happened.
Something that's not being told.
Yeah, because I was watching Tisa Tales today too. She showed that diagram of like the back of the head, the part that was like, I think it was like bloody or something, or it was like
it's like tissues. It's called like deep tissue or something. This is what I was watching that part.
Like what could have happened? What could have? I don't know. It's like the basis of that.
People, and I don't even trust these people, but someone that was a guest on Nancy Grace has said that like, it could have happened because the body was taken from. It could have happened posthumously, like it could have happened because the body was found face down, but when his body was transported up to DC to do the second autopsy, they're saying it could happen then. That's somebody from Nancy Grace though, and I just really couldn't. This is what I was thinking about. I was like, I just couldn't get through her whole thing.
Because my thing is, I'm not a person who obviously does stuff like that, but I would think that when you're alive, certain stuff happens, and when you're dead, certain stuff happens. Like certain things that can happen when you're alive can't happen when you're dead. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, could that really have happened in transport, or was it already like that? Because that could only happen if the blood is already going through the body. I don't know.
If that's the case, why are some of these other things so cagey and like, oh, we don't have that information, we're not sharing that information? Like, if everything's on the up and up, just just share it with the family.
I wonder what those conversations, like, you remember when something used to happen at school, or you got in trouble or something, whatever, and you know how the conversation was in the house, mommy was talking to you or whatever, like you in trouble and you got to have these conversations and it's just heated in the house or whatever. It's just like cringe. I wonder what these conversations are like for these people who are like directly involved, that probably are being protected right now. Like, what are the conversations
You
in the
mean
house?
like the I know what you did last summer conversations?
Like, what are your dinner conversations like? Like, after something like this happens,
I want them
when you know that you're covering something up. Like, how do you be in the house?
That's why I want to see those ChatGPT searches, because somebody knows something and they're trying to figure out what their next.
I bet you somebody's ChatGPT or Grok something. I don't know. Something.
Let's check that, roll that beautiful bean footage. I do feel like there has to be something more to this. And it had occurred to me, because let's just talk about this. It had occurred to me that, like, what if nothing did happen? What if, and this would be such an unfortunate thing to be pinned on somebody. But it's just too much out of whack.
If nothing really did happen, what's all the secrecy for? What's all the, and I gotta look and see. I gotta catch myself up on this, because I watched Tisa Tales a couple of times, but now I'm getting confused of where I got some information from or whatever, because it was like about whatever boat that they were investigating, and then it was about there was a tow company that they never towed, but they said they got a tow or something like that. Was it the other way around?
Oh, they got his car towed?
No, it was a boat that was supposed. They said they did a boat tow. Maybe they said, maybe I gotta go back and look or whatever, but there was some information about a boat tow that either did or didn't happen. But the shit is getting interesting by the day. Like, I watched something from 9 days ago when they first did a press conference, and listened to what they were saying there, and then just to fast forward to today to listen to the parts missing from the autopsy was just crazy. Like, what? That's never happened before. I don't ever remember that happened before.
Yeah.
Somebody report, unless it just wasn't reported, like somebody doing a second autopsy and parts are missing.
Yeah, it seems odd. And I don't know the protocol, but it does seem really odd. Like,
we were watching a Lifetime movie, right? One of those Lifetime shows or whatever, where like somebody did something and it's like, okay, here's all the evidence or whatever of this person breaking into the house and killing this person. Only thing that's missing is the footage of the person breaking into the house and killing the people.
Yeah.
Like, what? The main thing is missing? What? That's crazy to me. It's crazy. And I feel like we're going to keep on seeing stuff that's just like, we used to be able to be like, there's only a limit. There's a limit to what craziness you would see. Now, anything's possible. Like,
yeah,
it's no telling. Like, what? Like, that's why I think that it's important to have these conversations, because we're documenting things that are happening during the time that we are experiencing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
people are going to
be looking back at this like, wow, this is crazy. And things are probably just going to get even more crazier. So this
is why I do think you're right. It's important for us to have these conversations, because we're not owned by any entities. We can speak our mind. And a lot of this, when the history goes down in the book, they like to rewrite the history and ban certain things.
You know what? I think that for that reason, from today forward, every time I do a video, I'm going to start saying the date, just because today is July 23rd, 2026. Thursday.
Because it's like this, you know, we didn't have that necessarily. We had camcorders, but nobody's looking at that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's finding.
I mean,
the internet is different because anybody can find it on the internet. You know what I'm saying? It's not somewhere in an attic with an old. Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
Or 5 or 10 years from now, or 30 years from now.
I mean, but think about the access that we have right now. Back in the day, right, when you used to Google something, you might find the information that you was looking for. Mm-hmm. But now you're definitely going to get to the answer that you need to find, right? It's like, is this person working over here? Let me see. Yeah, they've been working here since. But like, you can really like pull up to the minute information, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Especially now that, not to make this scary, but now that people are giving a lot of their information away, it's really easy, I think, to get information from people. But it's crazy because you can pretty much, like you said, look up what you need, or nobody really makes any phone calls anymore that much. But
listen,
you can have
when I went to Podcast Summit the year before, well, a couple of years ago, the lady that was doing, I think it was Cynthia Respert. She was doing the AI presentation that year. And she had an agent that you could look up podcast guests, like people for your podcast guests. And I looked both of us up, and it gave a nice little bio for both of us. For you, it gave your job stuff. It listed who you are, whatever on the internet, right? And so, but yeah. So it's just like we live in a world of information right now. You know what I'm saying? We just live in the world of information. But remember when I saw this, and I don't know if you sent this to me or if I just came across this from something that you sent. But somebody sent something that mentioned, remember when you used to have to call the movie times and sit on the phone and wait for movies alphabetically to hear the time of the movie?
Or the weather.
Like you couldn't go look online. You know what I'm saying? You had to call that number and sit there and listen.
Yes. Until
your movie came up.
That's crazy. Yes.
I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
And the weather, and then checking the time, like you know, now you can just you know, look at your phone. But back then, that wasn't the case.
It was not.
That is really funny. Yeah, so okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. We must have.
No. I was just marveling over that.
Well, look, guys, we're gonna probably touch on this, you know, as it unfolds, but it's unfortunate that we're still here. You know, America's 250th birthday, and that's when this happened. It was like the July 4th, around the July 4th time frame. And I just, man, it just really hurts to lose a child that young. It's like, wow, like
he didn't even get to experience nothing. You know what I'm saying?
No, and he was doing well with his football and with his life, and all of his friends talk about how everyone loved him, and he was just like the stand-up guy, likable guy, and it's just, you know, it's a tough thing. But we're gonna keep talking about it as long as it's in the media and on the internet.
And that was their only child, right?
No. They have other kids, because they was talking about how one of them, at least one of them, looks up to him. But I feel like they have two, but I can't really confirm that right now. But they do have at least one other child. But like but that's even worse. Like, you know, that would be even worse. But you know, it's crazy to me too, because now they all have to suffer and be in mourning. You know what I'm saying? It's like other children involved that are also sad, like their older brother.
Oh, yeah, that's wild. That's wild.
That is, it is so sobering. It's so, you know, it's crazy to me to think about how they had to have his funeral and stuff. And
I saw some people go live about that, but I was like, I cannot.
Well, like watch the funeral?
Yeah.
I wouldn't either. I mean, I think it's a little, listen, I respect these people and stuff like that, but it's like, I don't want to do that. I don't. This is where the internet can be a little bit unhealthy, because you don't have to take part. Like, you can give your condolences.
I can just know that you're having the funeral, and that's enough.
Yeah, say a prayer, or, you know,
but I don't want to see it.
get the story out there and try to get some answers for this family. But like, you don't need to be sitting there watching someone's funeral who you've never met. I don't think that's. I mean, to me, I'm not judging anybody.
I think it's inappropriate.
I feel like that's okay. Listen, that's just something that it's not self-care for sure. Okay, it's something else because this is where the internet is a little too, intrusive in our lives. Like we don't need to know everything because,
shout out to people who like, I understand like feeling for the family and stuff, but I just was like, oh no, I'm not gonna. No, I don't want to dip in on that. Let them have the, but I mean, they televised it, but that's the world we live in, I guess now. Like stuff is just, everything's on this place like crazy because a lot of these things are not new things that have been happening, but back in the day, we just didn't have as many cameras as we have now, or as many, ways for people to share their thoughts about stuff. So you just wouldn't have a lot of this chatter or a lot of the information that we know. Like as soon as somebody finds out something, they're making a video or they're posting it online. We only know about that because of the way that we are now. Because back in the day, it just was word of mouth. You know what I mean? So it slowed down I'm pretty sure it slowed down the exposure of what's really going on. But like, this is so not new. So and it makes it difficult because it's like, I think right now we're in an era where our generation experienced these things, right? But then the generation after us did not really experience it as the generations before us, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, just like how we looked at Martin Luther King and stuff like that. Like, I feel like as the generations go on, that's going to get a lot more diluted, right? And how important it was, to us to hear that, celebration song and all of that. Like, it's just going to get more watered down, and because it's not, I don't know, it's just not the same way, but the stuff still exists. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people just be like, they don't want it to exist. And we do have a lot of allies on our side. Like, I don't think that white people are evil. I think that they're just like anybody. We have, just like we have black people that embarrass us, they got white people that embarrass them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They just be like, oh. But I think that the more people talk about it and call it out, not even in a confrontational way, but, the people who are speaking on it, like they might probably encounter some problems with their family. But I feel like the more people that do it, the more that'll be like, listen, this is not the way that we're doing things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, off my soapbox.
But no, we do need that. So anyway, look, we're gonna keep the party. We're gonna keep the party. We're gonna keep the people talking about this because I do think it's important and it's not something that everybody is aware of. So there's that. All right. So moving right along, we're getting ready to talk about streaming, content, but I want to start with this. So Adrian Bronner, and this is like maybe like a couple weeks old. I feel like he did this he started this a couple weeks ago, but I haven't checked in. I'm about to look at it.
Because here's the thing, guys get on my nerves because they be like overweight and they be like, oh, I'm about to start working out, and then next thing you know, they don't have no stomach no more, and it's like, why the hell can I do that?
James just told me today I lost 10 pounds. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I got mad.
They lose weight so much faster than us. It's crazy. So I really want to check in.
I haven't checked in. Like, what?
Right. I think I only checked it. Last day I checked in on him was day 3 because I think that was around the same time Screaming University was starting. So I kind of forgot.
All right. So now I got some new updates for you. Then. So this is how'd your wife? How'd your kids? This is day 1 versus day 14.
That's ridiculous.
I'm really upset. He already has
his stomach out. He got to be.
That's crazy. Nah, I think he did look like that because I seen this really crazy video of him toe up from the flow up in terms of like thinking. So it is possible that I do believe that was. But this is crazy how quickly these men can get in shape. It's so upsetting to me that I can't do that. But you know what? More power to them because
I knew it was going to look something like this.
for those of you who don't know, Adrian Bronner and somebody named Dean,
Dean the Great.
They committed suspending 45 days inside a warehouse. Now we're already about 2 weeks in, and they have one goal. They're going to train, they're going to stream live or whatever, and they're going to recover. And it's basically this, like, I guess like a health challenge, to be honest, because they're not doing any alcohol, no nights out, no unnecessary distractions, discipline, consistency, and putting in work every single day. I think this is dope. I'm so glad people are here for it and they're like looking at it, because I feel like this is the type of thing that like we need to see people doing this. It's like a motivational or something.
Absolutely, because the more you like, when you focus on something, it grows. Like, just think about it. Like, anything that you be like, okay, I'm about to do this. If you focus on it, like, you figure it out, you do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing when you get a job, when you learn how to go, like when you're going to school, like you get the set of instructions and you focus on it and you can make something happen. You can create something. So when you focus on something like he's focusing on, well, he really needs to do this. So this is good. But I mean, I'm just a hater right now because men lose weight so fast, but it's like they had no choice but to get results because they're focusing on, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm cutting this out. I'm cutting that out. And I'm focused on doing this. And look at the results. You know what I'm saying? And then that's how you create a habit, because now you're like, okay, now I've been doing this. Let me keep going. But he's a boxer too, right?
Yeah, he's a boxer. The other thing that I realized,
already got that discipline ingrained, but he was wild. He has a
I got to click this button on in my mind, and then I'm training. I think that's how a lot of athletes, you know, especially boxers are. But then also, because it's true, if you ain't in shape as a boxer, you can ready to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you get hurt anyway, but like you really gonna get hurt if you ain't in shape.
You will get because the consequence for boxing is you get caught with something powerful.
Ooh, the consequences for boxing are not the same consequences for real. You know, sidebar here, because this is the group chat. Okay, we are your cousins, the internet's cousins. Immediately when Ray J enters any scene, it becomes less serious. Like, he is the most unserious person, and it's like crazy because he's watching this man on the daggone treadmill. He's there drinking some liquor, or what looks like to be liquor, which I bet it is. It's in a liquor looking bottle. But it's like I'm looking at this man fight for his life on this treadmill, and then you can just see Ray J in the side, like, huh? Like, why is Ray J there?
I feel like I saw him grab a bottle of liquor too.
Yeah, he has a bottle of liquor.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing
it's on a loop. I guess he's trying to like tempt him or something. But you know what? That's not gonna work, because if you're on the treadmill, you ain't thinking about no daggone liquor. You trying to get some water. Ew, that joint probably turns your stomach. Well, I don't know. I don't know that, man. Anyway, we're talking about streaming, and I wanted to bring that up first because that was like the smaller of the stories. We'll check back in with our friends here. There he is. There's freaking Day
14 is wild. That's like though.
Yeah. But you know, really what we want to talk about is something that happened. I think it's the second year of it. And it's called Streamer University. I'm about to bring this up because I just love so much about it. So we're gonna talk about what it is and how we came to watch it and stuff. So I'm gonna put it up on the screen if you wanna kick us off with your thoughts.
Well, yeah, because I missed the first year. I heard about it. I remember it happened, but I didn't tune in. I didn't pay attention. Because I don't really, they like in their 20s and 30s, so I don't really watch them like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know who they are, some of them. Now I know who a lot more of them are, but I know who Casanat is and stuff. And so this year, he grabbed my attention because of the way it was marketed. He started out talking about, like, well, you saw first I saw all the auditions. Like, people were lining up in different states. It was like lots of people. Even some larger streamers tried to apply, like Armand Wiggins applied. He got denied. But I see after it was all said and done, I see why he didn't pick certain people, because they just were already established. You know what I'm saying? I think Armand probably would have been good as a professor But I don't think he would have been down with none of the shit they was doing, Sauce and all of that stuff they was doing. But so it got my attention by the auditions, and then the trailer. When I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, all right, he's okay. And then it was just a whole experience. It wasn't. It was like each experience made me be like, okay. He did the auditions. It's like, okay, then we're gonna announce the people on this day. Okay, and then Streaming University starts this day. You're gonna like give people their schedules and stuff like that. So it was just in what is the word, engaging. I don't know. From the time that he announced the people, I was like, okay, I'm gonna see what this is about. So yeah, I don't know. I just started rambling on that.
No, that's good. And as you were talking, I was just showing like just different clips and stuff from their Instagram, and I think this is the one of the trailers. I don't know if this is the one that you're talking about. But they had to like jump through this thing.
Yeah, it was cool. It reminded me of Harry Potter, and even how he had like showed all the names and stuff, and how I feel like I watched that stream. It was a couple of hours long, and I was like, yo, he had the same amount of energy. He made everybody feel special about getting in and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. And so I didn't even know what to expect, but while watching it, I realized that I was looking at the whole thing all wrong anyway. Like, I'm in my 40s, so I'm like, some stuff is serious and some stuff is for play. And so I'm like, okay, after I saw like everybody get in, I thought it was gonna be a bunch of I knew it was gonna be a bunch of food fights and stuff and a bunch of pranks and stuff, but I really started to see it as something deeper afterwards once I realized that they're all on a live reality TV show. That's how I looked at it. Mm-hmm. So I was like, because nobody, and then the crazy thing is Kai can see everything because everybody's fucking streaming. You can't even say you didn't do something because there's some view from somebody else's camera that is going to see whatever happened. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm just gonna switch over to this tab too because he has something in his background. This is streaminguniversity.com. I don't know if all of these people are live right now or if these are older, but it looks like 100. Like this many people watching, 29 people watching. It looks like this is a feed to all of the lives that are happening right now. So this is kind of like what his screen was looking like in his little dean's office. I'm talking about Castanet when he was, like bringing people in and watching their streams. And so, okay, I want to go into a little bit about like how it came to be. And so this was the second year. I didn't even know about it last year. I may have heard about it, but it didn't stick. And this year, it really showed me how valuable something like this is, because even if you go to school and they have some sort of like audio visual program or something that you can join, there's nothing like live, like hands-on experience. And I thought this was the best version of a university that could exist, because it's like, here, you're going to come here, you're going to learn from some of the people, you're going to learn from your peers, and hey, go stream now. Here's all of the equipment that you need. Right. I just thought it was genius. And then
you don't gotta pay for your ticket, you don't gotta pay for your food, you don't gotta pay for nothing. And even we're gonna give you a laptop and a phone to stream. Straight.
Yep. And so this is really dope, the way that he has it set up. But I love the way he went through and branded everything. And like you said, it has the Harry Potter vibes. But he even had, I'm gonna show this a couple of clips from some of the things that they did. But I just thought it was really dope the way they had like a basketball game and a fashion show and all of these things. Oh, here it is. So this is like the fashion show that took place. But they were all like handmade designs from designers that were picked to participate in this project. But it's like everything is just so fresh and fun and like young.
And let me just say, it's not nothing to sneeze at. I feel like those were good pieces. I feel like the way that everything was together, like I know that there's a side of this whole thing that everybody's like, oh, streaming sucks, blah, blah, blah. But I'm looking deeper. This was not just a streaming event. Like I said, this was a live reality show that I don't know that people are doing, right? And it had a whole theme. And obviously the sponsors think that this is the way to go because there were some huge sponsors on that. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a creator conference, a networking event, a media production, you know what I'm saying? All wrapped up into one. I mean, we could go on with that because we could say it was a business incubator because they were doing business. You know what I'm saying? He's doing this with some of his business partners. The classes, and you know, people tend to sneeze at stuff like this, but if you go to business conferences or podcast conferences or any type of like, you know, networking event, like you're going to collaborate or network with different people. So you have to be looking at it like we're about to do business. You know what I'm saying? So like there were brand deals given away by some of the you know, some of the professors that have their own things going on or whatever. They were able to, but if you really paid attention to the classes, they had some good ass teachers. They had Agent, they had Ludwig, and those two off the top were giving really good information. You know what I'm saying? And it was a university experience. Being somebody that actually went to college for a year or two or whatever, I can tell you that it was a great university experience virtually just watching it. They had, you know, scenes in the cafeteria. You know, the caf is always like everybody who's anybody will be in here at some point. Stuff that happened on the yard. They had like you said, the basketball game and the fashion show, which I feel like those two events were top tier. They weren't some little rinky-dink thing. Like when they went to the basketball game, everybody who was involved with the basketball game, their stream was ingested with this professional NBA style like thing with commentators and everything. You know what I'm saying? Replays and all of that. So I feel like, and then today I saw that I think he dropped the behind the scenes because I'm interested to see how they put all that together, right? Like, he probably had to have meetings. The school was perfect. The way that his office was set up is to be the dean, the TV, I thought that was genius. You know what I'm saying? It was, and then he being so short and like standing in front, it was just so funny. You know what I'm saying? Like the police department. I thought all of the elements of the theme were genius. I'm like I said, I'm in my 40s and I was enthralled. Like, what's going on here? And then, like I said, once I realized that, you know, how you watch streaming, you watch streaming differently, right? Like, yeah, you're not gonna expect all this stuff to be real. Some stuff turns into real, right? Some beef ends up turning into real beef because people maybe they go too far, but most of the time they're doing things on stream to keep the viewers engaged, and it may not actually be real. And so that's what I kind of like was driven home for me. It was like, okay, I see what you're doing here. And the main person that I was watching carried a storyline from the start of Streamer U to the end. And he won MVP because he was in his character, okay? All week long.
I know what you're talking about. I'm about to pull it up right now.
So, yeah. I mean, because think about it. Like, this was an all expenses paid. They had dorms. They had classes. And I remember I told you about somebody who went home. And I was like, why would you go home? Look at that. They had to practice a couple of days to do that. But like, those are just students that probably cheered in high school. But, you know, you got to focus and get some shit together to get a routine together. They actually did really good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is the guy you're talking about, Suburb Baby, right?
Suburb Baby, yeah. I didn't know who he was before this. I had never seen him before. Didn't know who he was. Apparently, he didn't really average that many streams before he came, but he was doing a lot of skits. He came in this joint with a strategic plan that he was just gonna do what he did. And as I watched him, I realized there were certain elements that go along with it, right? Like the outfits probably were intentionally non-matching, pink Crocs, you know, this and that. Like, so book bags. He had a bunch of different book bags that he was wearing. He had a Hello Kitty book bag one time, but it's like things like that stop people in the stream. It's just like, what the hell is he doing?
What is going on here?
Right. Yeah. And then because he was moving around campus, he came across I bet you he met every student in Streamer U because he was not discriminated against talking to anybody. He would start talking to anybody and just go with it. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I feel like that's why I feel like it was a live reality TV show because I mean, nobody's yelling cut and in, but you're all being filmed at all times. Some people
And
are
it's
in
an opportunity. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
No, finish.
I was gonna say it's an opportunity. They're only there for like a week, so it's like you know this guy he stayed up. I don't know if he stayed. He didn't stay up the whole time, but he was like falling asleep
I
at
can
the
tell
end.
you exactly how long he stayed up because I was in this joint saying he's still up. Like what the
Yeah,
hell?
tell me.
He stayed up at least 28, 29, 30 hours before he actually got some sleep. He did definitely stay up 24 hours, but then he had like a couple of like one night or two where he slept at least 4 hours or whatever. And so they just leave the stream going or whatever. But I said this fool is delirious because here's the thing: when you stay up past like a certain number of hours, you then become the same level as if you were drinking. So it's like you still are like he was in a controlled environment, so it wasn't that bad, right? Because he didn't have to drive anywhere. But once you miss a certain amount of hours of sleep, you're considered intoxicated. Okay.
Yeah.
But like I said, he's not my, like, I wouldn't be like, oh, let me go find him. But now that I know who he is, I might go tune in to see. Like, I saw that he went to go get his haircut. Okay. He got a little, okay. He doesn't normally look this dirty. He looked at us because everybody's telling him that,
no, go ahead. As you're talking, I'm just going
to that he stink or whatever and stuff like that. But he was taking showers. I did see him leave out to go take showers. I mean, obviously they weren't having cameras in the bathroom, but people was telling he stink. But they could have been saying that because they're in a live reality show and they could say you know, basically you and me walk up to each other on campus. We're both content creators. I say something to you just go with the conversation, right? Yeah. We might be talking about anything. You don't know what I might say. I don't know what you might say. You know what I'm saying? And we just go with it. And people are going to clip that conversation because it's funny. So depending on what was said. So that's kind of the main thing I understood. Like they could go in and out of character at any time. So you can't really like say this is what happened because I don't know if they were joking. Because they're on a live reality show. You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah. It's a lot of it is entertainment. But you know what? Just because this is not the last time we're going to talk about this. These are some of the people who were there. I saw some of these people, but I knew for sure there were 3 people that I was following beforehand. One of them was called Shaz Delicious. Another one was called, or is called, right? Kiera Please. And I can't remember who the third person was, but now that it's happened, Sky Jackson, yeah. I knew who she was, but I wasn't following her. I think it's somebody else too. But there was this idea that like, oh, maybe it was this Clarence NYC and Queen Naja. Yeah, I was following her. So the idea though is like these people, here's what I think is genius, because people always talk about how like things are oversaturated and there's nothing new under the sun. This was an opportunity that obviously took some money, you know, behind it, but it was such a great idea. It is such a great idea that's going to be able to stand the test of time, because all of these people came with at least a small following. So you already have people watching. Now you all come together and it's like you're networking to the side and you're growing, you're expanding, because now I know what it is. And I'm not even I don't consider myself a streamer. I mean, we're live right now, but
right. That's what I said. I'm not a streamer, but I go live. So I mean, we could be streamers, but you know.
Yeah. But anyway, these are some of the people. I really enjoyed watching these people. I'll tell you, after the fact, I'm now following Mr. Keem for sure. Mr. Keem, I think that's what it's called. I love the way that he went around helping people. I think he got an award too. This is the person that I was already following.
Yeah, I think he won valedictorian, didn't he?
Yeah.
And there was a guy there was so much there. Like if you were a person who just watched those funny clips, you missed everything. I mean, you know, like I said, it was a creator conference, it was a networking event, it was a media production, it was a business incubator. It was a live reality show. I keep wanting to stress that because I don't know nobody that's doing a live reality show. And then, you know, think about the stuff that they had to build, right? There was a police department full of stuff, and I'm gonna watch that behind the scene things because I think the school was perfect. They had 5 buildings that they used on campus. He rented out the whole campus, but they had 5 main buildings that they used. But there was a basketball team that had to have uniforms or t-shirts for that, right? They had Jordans for everybody who played. They had cheerleaders. They had to have uniforms for that. And apparently they had more than one uniform to do stuff or whatever. Just like a real cheerleading team. They had the fashion show, like you said. They had a fraternity there. They had a homecoming before. Now, what I understand, nothing happened on the homecoming. So there was some miscommunication about that because the homecoming was the same day as the basketball and the fashion show. But the alumni obviously came back. Saucy Santana snuck on campus. And Kai kind of got mad about that. There were awards, and they had professional commentators at the basketball game. That kind of like is what boosted me the most. Then the police, they had the Streamer University police, which obviously they weren't real police, but they had like cars with Streamer University on it. So I'm like, look at everything that they build, right? This, as he said at the end, this is the idea that he had that's now out here. You know what I'm saying? And obviously the sponsors think that is the streamers know the way because Dell was a sponsor, Meta was a sponsor, Zaxby's was a sponsor, the Jordan Brands was a sponsor. So I can't go out here and be like, hey, I'm about to have an event and I got Dell, Meta, Jordan. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be like, who are you? You know what I mean? So the fact that even though Kai didn't have to pay for that, it's his influence that they feel like, oh, this is the way forward. The influencers are going to be the way forward. And I also want to say that people always think about, oh, they have the big streamers are there and they're not talking to the little streamers or whatever. Even if that was the case, which I don't think it was, because I watched a lot of people and I also watched DDG come back for alumni and go around and specifically help small creators the last day before he left. And he wasn't the only one that was doing it. But I just submit to you, if you go to a conference like this, if you're going to go to Streamer 2027, I need you to treat it like a business conference and fuck the big creators. Figure out who's among you, because that is going to be who y'all make each other famous, right? Because those big creators are already famous. Like, you're trying to get your shit out there, and so is everybody else there. So collaborate with the people that are attending just like you, because again, this is different than any creator conference or anything, any type of conference or whatever, because it's all expenses paid for the people who get chosen. Make the most of the opportunity and collaborate with whoever's there and stream. So I'll end my little soapbox talk about with this. There was a guy there that I was telling you this over this weekend. I was like, oh, he left. Who would leave a situation like this where you got flown out, you got sponsored, you got shit or whatever. Well, he left saying that he didn't fit in. And it was like this whole thing about it. People were posting about it. But come to find out, he was a fucking scammer. And the way that he got in was when Kai was announcing the people who got like golden tickets. There was like 5 people who got golden tickets. And the person's name came up. And chat with 2 underscores. And when he did that, they sent that person the itinerary and stuff on how to get there instead of the real person. So the guy ended up leaving Streaming University early because he didn't want to get caught. And and so he ended up leaving. But he tried to I guess he tried to help the other guy after that, but that guy ended up calling in and telling on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not me. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get there or whatever. But
yeah, I didn't go. Right. That's a blower. That's a blower. Right? You never got the information and you didn't call nobody. Maybe they did call somebody. Who knows? Everything's like,
That just goes to show you the level that people will go to the troll and do shit or whatever. But I don't know. I just want to say that, like I said, Kai Sinai is a young, like, he's 24, 25. Yeah, but he coordinated campus, sponsors, professors, security, you know what I'm saying, transportation, hundreds of creators, and then he had to pull that shit off. I'm pretty sure he was, just like, you know, as nervous as we probably are to do stuff like that, like this whole thing has to go right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm sure it took a lot of planning and putting things together. He had to have a really solid team. And I mean, some of the stuff they probably didn't even plan out. Like they're just like, we're gonna put these people in a room and see what happens. And so it takes a little bit of that. But I'm just looking at these dates, July 15th through July 20th, and it's like it starts with you saying that I'm gonna do this thing and this is when I'm gonna do it, right? Like maybe it doesn't start like that for everybody, but once you block those dates in, you pretty much have it all together. So I'm just gonna flip through some of the parts of the process where he was unveiling like who the professors would be. Oh, and sidebar, shout out to those professors because Agent Zero, Senna, and there was somebody else who gave some bomb advice. One of them said exactly what you just said about networking to the side. I think it was Senna actually, but there's people who were just teaching about what's his name, Ludwig. He was showing all the money he makes. Agent Zero was saying things about getting brand deals and partnerships and how he'll reach out to people when he sees they're working with somebody, and he'll just be like, well, that just lets me know they have a marketing budget, so I'm gonna reach out with my idea. Right? It's like these are things
that
like
was
that.
One of the main takeaways I took away too is that a lot of people don't like when they reach out. They don't reach out with an idea. They're like reaching out and not saying anything or not really saying anything importance or whatever. But to your point about Ludwig and Agent Zero actually used Ludwig in one of his examples of whatever he was trying to teach. He saw 3 different classes each day, which when people be like, "Oh, they ain't really teaching
That's
nothing,"
a lot.
I saw somebody, I followed the people who were going to class, okay? Even though I followed the people who was running around campus with water guns and hot sauce, I followed the people who were going to class too because they were recording the class. So he gave 3 different lectures about, brand deals and how to like come up with content. But he used Ludwig as an example about one of his videos and how he put it together and grabbed people's attention. But Ludwig was giving classes about what you're gonna do when you leave here, because only a certain amount of you are gonna even, he was like, you only gonna get 4 followers from being here, so what are you gonna do? Do you have a plan?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was so real, because it's like, just because you attend streaming university doesn't mean that you're gonna get a whole bunch of followers. Summer Baby got a lot of followers, but look at all the work he put in
he put in a lot of work.
He lost lots of sleep. He was getting slammed with saws, water guns, all types of shit. He also, but see, he had certain elements. He had a girlfriend the whole time, and he was going through stuff with her. He was getting in fights with people over her. He was getting arrested. It was just a plan that he had. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Anyway, it was good.
Very well executed. Very well executed. And it's just like I said, it's an opportunity. So they had I don't know if they had any idea, and he didn't have any idea how that character was going to go. But you go to a place, you get an opportunity, you have a plan, and you execute the plan. I think this is a really good example of how a great idea can just come out and flourish, especially with the right people. Because another thing I was glad about is that nobody got hurt. There was nothing crazy that happened to anybody.
Okay, we have to talk about Larry. So there was the scene where Larry and I think it was Amber Tyson, which I think is her birthday today. Amber, Larry, and Dami snuck into the dean's office, and they got caught by Kai, and then Kai security got them out. Well, in the scuffle of getting removed, Larry's arm got hurt or cut or something. So he goes back to his room. He goes live talking about Kai don't care about him, and he told him this is gonna happen. Meanwhile, Kai is over locking Dami up in the jail that they have, right? And he's getting flour and shit thrown in his face. Like, there's other shit going on, but this dude is live talking about, I got ketchup all down my arm because they can't say the word blood or whatever. But I guess on Twitch they can't say the word blood, so they were saying ketchup. But he was he kept saying that, and then out of the blue, his mom called, and she was like, "If something's wrong with you, why don't you call 911?" And she was like, "If you don't do it, I'm gonna do it." And so at that point, I realized that what he was trying to do got messed up by his mother in real life. On one hand, he probably was feeling a little mad about it, but I think on the other hand, what he was really doing was just trying to stream and get numbers, right? Trying to keep some drama going. But so then his roommate came in, was like, or he called him and he was like telling him what happened. He was like, dude, if something's, why don't you call 911 yourself? Like,
right. What's going on?
He needed a little bit more emotional intelligence. But, I thought, so that was the only thing that I saw that happened. But I think there was a couple of other incidents that happened. Like the lady that does puzzles, she wasn't really coming out of her room at first, probably because of all the craziness that was happening.
I wouldn't want it. The one thing that I do not agree with is that saucing stuff. I didn't like that. That's like, ew.
I did notice that. I don't know that everybody, like, I did notice that the people that got sauce were participating in that stuff. Like they were, doing stuff to be in that. Like the people who didn't get sauce were definitely inside minding their business or doing whatever. They wasn't
going to class.
Yeah. So I feel like it was just it's just like, I felt like it was just like college. Like it's so many things going on campus. It's up to you and what you're going to be a part of and who you're going to mess with. And that's how you do it. But because it's a live reality show, right? Anything is possible. Somebody might come and see you do something out of the blue just because it's a live reality show. That's why my mindset changed on it as I was watching it. Once I kind of registered it as, oh, it's like a live reality show. I was like, okay, no edits. Any people gonna be doing crazy stuff. Some people gonna be thinking that, you got levels to it. Like some people are like, okay, we decide we're gonna do something, then we do it. Then you got people who are just like, no, I'm gonna go all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Be surprised or be ready. But overall, I think it was really good. I think that if you look past the clips and stuff like that, you'll see that it was learning, it was collaboration. You know what I'm saying? They had, like I said, they had professors, and the professors were legit. They had just things for people to be involved in. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that you honestly, it was 15th to the 20th, but the 20th ain't nothing really happened. So from the 15th to the 19th, you got the cheerleaders learning their moves. You got the basketball team practicing together enough to win the game for their team or whatever. So I was like, yo, this is well thought out. This was well thought out. It just didn't happen by happenstance. It was well thought out. So
yeah, I'm sure he has so many more ideas too. And so, shout out to this whole crew, Casanat for sure, and all of the people who helped put this together. This is not going to be the last time we talk about this because I followed a few of these people. I'm still in awe at just the idea that, like, that pulled this off, that it was successful, that it's at least an annual thing, if not more frequent.
Did we say that the next Streamer U 2027 is in Europe?
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting.
So anyway, guys, that's what we got for you tonight. I'm excited to see what's in store for the internet next week. But like I said, I followed a lot of those young people. Listen to me.
I know, right? We're the aunties and shit.
We are. But yeah, I followed a lot of them, and I feel like, it's something to be learned from all of this. Like I listened a little bit to some of the professors, but I need to go back and find older videos because I want to listen to Ludwig if he gave a bunch. I mean, like, if Age of Zero gave 3 classes a day, that's a real job. Like, what?
He gave 3 different classes. So I don't know if I think he gave 1 class a day, but it was 3 different classes.
Okay.
Each day.
Yeah.
But
he gave some science.
I like what he was teaching, and he's also done it. So it was like he was one of the ones that gave a brand deal away. But as a creator, I'll share that this is how it changed. These were my lessons, right? Stop chasing perfection. Build community, because that's who's going to support you. Tell stories. Like, don't just be like, oh, I'm going live. Like, that's what I learned by Suburb Baby. Like, I didn't know who he was, but I was like, is this girl really into him? Like, is he playing? And then it was like, oh, well, the different storylines or whatever, right? Dude that even hurt his arm. I was like, let me see. The next one, I was like, let me see.
I was like looking for him. I gotta go find him.
I was like, did his mother call the police? Because she ended up calling 911. So, but create experiences. Casanat created a whole experience, and virtually, I was enthralled. So I know the people who were there, like we got to see more than they got to see. They weren't even able to see the full gist of everything going on, so they probably came home and started rewatching stuff because they were in it. You know what I'm saying? We could be like, okay, let's go to this
so
person.
Exciting.
It really was. It really was. So I can't wait till next year. I'm gonna watch it next year, and I'm gonna comment on that joke next year.
Anyway. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. I like the way he had everybody set up too. But anyway, like I said, we're not gonna stop talking about this, guys, because we're so excited about it. And I mean, look. Let me be honest. This is a young Black man who started as a streamer himself. You know, he kind of was doing some other media things, but he decided to invest back in himself and go in with his idea. And this is another part, and then I'm gonna let this go for now. But like it's not like he waited for VH1 or Netflix or you know what I'm saying to go and do this thing.
I found that out too. They offered him some money to do a 3-day series. Netflix offered him money to do a three-day series, and he declined. So
nice ownership.
That was important too. Yeah, I was like, he's creating intellectual property now. So
I love it.
That's probably what made him. That's probably what made him not do it, because he was like, "Oh, hold up, y'all want this?" Okay, like I said, it's a live reality show.
I love to see it. And you know, one of the things that he said before he got the golf cart to go over to the awards ceremony is that he was like, man, if you got a dream, you got to go. It's possible. Go after it. And I love it when people say that, especially while they're at the top, like winning the thing that they, you know, that they were going for, because it's just a reminder that, like, look, I was on the other side of this idea at one point. And so you got to just go for it, especially if it's in your heart and you desire to do a thing, create something. And think about how he probably had this idea in his head for maybe even years and thought to himself, what would that take to pull that off? Right. It's like so much, all the things we just even thought of and showcased. And there was still more than that went into it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, mad shout out. We're definitely going to keep talking about it as long as it's, you know, as long as these people are streaming. But
yeah, and look, it was interesting to me. It just made me look at everything totally different. And it re-energized me for my own content, because I take myself way too seriously. And I was just like, this nigga's walking around all these days with sauce in his hair. He got milk poured on him and whatever. And he won MVP, not because of how he looked, but because he was serious about sticking to his role that he planned to do when he came in.
His facial expressions are funny too. So he starts out as a funny guy. And he's kind of funny. But he leaned into it and he just went for it. And I was just looking at this picture or this video of when Kai first came in and like on the first night when welcoming everybody to Streamer U, and I could see Suburb in the audience. It's kind of funny because you can see how amped he was. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it. You can see how amped he was, and it's like that moment when you realize, like, I have an opportunity to do something here. You know what I'm saying? And then what are you going to do with it? Okay, here it is. Well, is this it?
He definitely put the envelope, because there's a couple times I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, okay. By the end, I was like, I see what he was doing there.
Yeah.
I see what
he was doing. Imagine if he was actually trying to do something even bigger than that, and this is what we ended up with, right? Imagine, I don't know what it could be, because I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm not even a streamer, and I don't be following all these people and looking at what they're doing, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So what if this was like, you know how they say shoot for the moon and land amongst the stars? What if this was amongst the stars for him and he was really going for something else that we're going to see in the future? But I mean, like, it's so great the way it turned out. It could have turned out better than he thought it would, and that would also track, because I think they did something.
Nothing to lose. Like, he was like, I'm about to just go in here, and I could just, like I said, he played the hell out of the little character that he thought of, because it was just interesting to watch. Because at first I started watching like, what's going on? What is he doing? Why would he do this? Why would he do that? And then as I kept watching, I was like, oh, calm down. I learned what clip farming was. I learned, like I said, once I realized or like likened it to a live reality show, I just started looking at it totally different. You know, I was just like, I get it. Okay. But then
Yeah.
like some stuff turned serious, but it just depends on how far you willing to go in your stream. But then I watched some of the girls. Some of the girls that were there, like I watched a lot of the good girls that were going to classes and they were collaborating with other girls and they were going to the rooms and having little talks or whatever. It's this one girl, dang, I can't remember what her name was. She got red hair though. She's cute. She just be getting on stream talking, you know what I'm saying? Talking about her life and what she's doing. And I do see that, okay, a lot of them did already know each other and they kind of cross paths in their streams, but that's what they do. Like, let me come over your house so we can get some content together. You don't know what we might talk about, whatever, but it's going to be clipped and then we'll go into the next one. You know what I'm saying? So I get it now. I don't know. I wasn't looking at it like that. But it did definitely, like I said, affect how I'm looking at my own content and just kind of re-energizing me to just post the video. Stop talking. Yeah. Stop looking at, oh, you don't feel like you look like this, or your hair is this, or you're not ready. Fucking post the video.
Yeah, people are doing all that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, for sure. I was, yeah, because and then nowadays, that's what people want to see. They want to see like the unedited, unfiltered, like, you know, sort of not polished version of people. So listen, that's right on brand with me. Okay. I'd be having to move stuff before I go live because it's like, oh, let me look at these toys. If you could just see how many toys are sitting here on the floor right now, you'd be disgusted. Not disgusted, but it's so fun. But look, I'm grateful because I get to have, I was just thinking about that today. Like, I get to have my son in here playing around with his toys and stuff while I'm in here working. So
yeah.
That's fun. Anyway, well, that was a great episode, or, you know, whatever. It was a great live. I'm so glad that we're talking about this. You know, we started off on sort of a heavier topic, so it's nice to see this happening, like good happening as well. So I'm happy to end on that note. Did you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, great talk. I like you said, we started on a heavy note, but like we also need to talk about those things too, because like we were saying, we're recording history. Everybody's living history. We've never gotten to this day all together as a collective. So we need to document and have conversations like this because our kids and their kids are going to, you know, have similar experiences. Yeah. And if they don't have anything to reference from, then they're going to be, you know, in the same boat. So I feel like this is something that can serve as, hey, listen to what was going on back here and go forward. So whether it's good or bad, right? So
absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we'll see y'all next week. I just got our stuff down at the bottom of the screen where you can see where you can find us. Go ahead and click the like button if you like this, because we'll be back again next week with some more commentary of what's happening on the internet. And we be in the comments. We want you to be paying attention to this, guys. Okay. So anyway, look, my little pointer. You make sure you come back next week. You.
Oh my God.
Oh, that was really old. Okay. That's some old stuff to do. But anyway, all right, guys. We'll see you next time on Somebody's Cousins.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace. Why not say peace?